On this very special episode of Dr. T's Cookbook of Awesomeness, we're making a very midwestern, but yet gourmet Tator Tot Hotdish. And we're doing it with a friend. This is Cooking Q&A. This cutie patootie is up-and-coming Twin Cities musician and producer John Holt. Not only is John an accomplished drummer, specializing in reggae and hip-hop beats, playing with such acts as Goop City and Jeremy Beaman, he is also a talented producer and electronic music virtuoso, releasing tracks under the name SubOcybin. But music isn't his only passion, and today on Dr. T's Cooking Q&A, we'll take a deep dive into the heart, mind, and soul of this unique Minnesota treasure. Hey, welcome to Dr. T's Cooking Q&A. I'm here with John Holt. Now, John is an up-and-coming musician here in the Twin Cities area, and I'm going to have John kind of explain some of the groups and some of the music that he plays.
So I am in, I'd say, 5-ish groups. I'm doing a solo project called SubOcybin, where it's deep dubstep, wonky, weird bass music.
Hey, you can see that bass, dude?
Then I also play drums with Goop City, where I also produce, and then I do drums with Jeremy Beaman. Sorry, there's a lot of groups I'm trying to think of. Zon Waves, I do synthesizer stuff with, and then Ambidos, also synthesizer and drums. So quite the load of things going on.
Well, you're pretty busy, John.
Definitely not busy.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to find some time to cook with me. So today, we're going to make a Midwestern favorite, which is Tator Tot Hotdish. You like Tator Tot Hotdish, John?
Mama always made it.
Now, we're not going to make this with that, crappy canned soup. We're going to make this a little bit more gourmet. So, let's get started. And we've got this heated up here. And John, you want to toss that, actually first, let's start off with a little bit of lubrication.
All right.
Just put about a tablespoon or two in there, just swirl it around.
That looks like a
There you go.
tablespoon or two.
There you go, that's pretty good. Now throw in that hamburger. This induction cooktop heats up really fast. There you go, nice sizzle.
Sizzle.
We're just gonna broken out. Go ahead and throw it in there. I like mine really meaty. This is over a pound. Usually I put about a pound in here, but whatever.
Pound, give or take.
I actually buy this stuff in bulk and then put it into plastic Ziploc bags and freeze it. Saves money, and but I'm not always really precise on how much is in each pack.
Kind of eyeball it.
I try to get a pound. Some's a little bit more, some's a little bit less.
You're not pulling out the scale and weighing out a pound every time.
Yeah.
Jesse?
Oh man, you can see me through this.
It adds a nice ambiance to Dr. T here.
It sort of makes me more mysterious. Like Wizard of Oz, I'm like.
I'm a little jealous.
Wizard,
I don't
man.
have my own white smoke.
Let's season this up, man. We always have to season every step.
So,
Every step season.
what are we going with?
Salt and pepper.
Just the classic
Salt and pepper right now.
What was their salt?
Here's our salt.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a fancy.
Well, you said they were pre-measured, and I'm like,
Not
I
this
don't want to
one.
measure for the whole thing.
So we're just gonna zhuzh it up here.
So it's an eyeballed amount. Alright.
And just pull the cap off the top.
Alright. You can tell I cook a lot.
Yeah, that's good.
Perfect.
So while this kind of browns, and you want to get a good sear on this, you want to let it sit kind of undisturbed more or less for a couple minutes until it gets real good browning on the bottom, and then you can kind of break it up some more. But while we're waiting for that, John, why don't you tell me a little bit more about your music? Now, I know you span a lot of different genres, reggae and hip-hop and electronic and all this kind of stuff, and I'm not even familiar with a lot of this stuff, so tell me a little bit more about your influences and how you got into making the music that you make.
So I should start by saying I started out as a rock drummer. That was the main thing, and growing up I just enjoyed playing metal, rock, anything that had heavy drums and filled up space. And kind of when I reached my mid-20s, I realized that filling up space wasn't as fun for me, and that it was like, there's kind of a paradigm philosophical switch that just kind of happened with me, and I realized it was groove. Like, groove was where it was at.
Groove as a philosophy.
Groove as a philosophy, and so I really got into reggae because the reggae groove on drums is really unique. It's different than rock music, which is kind of on 2 and 4. You know, you're playing your main beat on 3. And so there's a different feeling with that, which allowed me to change and change my mind in a different mind state. Also, getting into shuffle music also, you know, kind of has that same feel. So anything like Led Zeppelin, Pool in the Rain.
Oh yeah, one of my favorites.
Any funk music has a really good shuffle. It kind of led me into wanting to learn some hip hop music. It then led me into doing Goop City music. As far as electronic stuff, off camera got psychedelics.
Don't worry, we'll cut that out.
I'm just trying to figure out how I can frame that.
Well, let's back up here. You know, we're talking about the philosophy of groove, right, and reggae music. So that's a pretty common theme. You know, going way back, you know, Bob Marley and the Wailers. It wasn't just the music; it was a whole, you know, philosophy. It was almost, you know, a religion,
right.
lifestyle, and everything. And obviously, it seems like you've embraced the lifestyle. So, tell me a little bit more about what that lifestyle means to you.
Well, with reggae music, it really is about the groove. It's about the feel. It's about love. It's not. Again, when I was younger, I was very much into metal music and like rock, and that for me, was an outlet of getting anger out for me. And again, when I kind of had that philosophical switch, I wasn't looking to be angry anymore, and I wanted to play music because it made me feel good. And about 4 years ago, I kind of had a really difficult moment in my life, and a friend of mine introduced me to Six Figure, which is a reggae band, and I fell really hard into them, and it just meant a lot to me. It made me feel good, it made me feel loved, it made me feel connected, and ever since then I've just really fallen in love with it.
So, you know, you said you were first into the hard rock, heavy metal stuff, and that helped you get your anger out. So then that left a little bit of emptiness. You were able to get that out of your system, and that's where the reggae music came in and filled that void left by the anger with love and peacefulness and groove.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really beautiful.
So I guess I could transfer that into, like, when I say deep dubstep, so my producer stuff is SubOcybin. The root of deep dubstep is dub music. So it does go hand in hand with reggae. A lot of the grooves, a lot of like the feel of the bass line and stuff goes hand in hand with reggae music. And so for me, it's really easy to kind of transfer that energy into low frequency music. For me, I like to feel the bass in music. Like that's why I make deep dubstep, that genre of music specifically, because you can feel the low end frequencies of your body, not necessarily hear it, but you're feeling it.
It's a physical experience.
It's a physical experience, yes.
Yeah, that's really cool. So tell me about performing. I know you've got groups that you perform with, you know, as part of the band, and then you've got the SubOcybin, and that's a completely different kind of setup where you're performing. So tell me about where you perform, how you perform, and how it's different between the different roles that you play in these different groups.
So for SubOcybin, I haven't played a whole lot of live stuff, but when I do, it's basically just taking my mixes and playing it on a DJ mixer, so just doing a live DJ mix. And then when I'm playing drums, performing with Goop City or Jeremy Beaman or even Amados, I'm playing drums for them. So it's a very different setup, it's a very different mindset going into each thing, you know. But it keeps me on my feet. It doesn't keep me bored with one thing, and it's a lot of fun.
Very cool, John. So let's get back to a little bit of the cooking here. We've got this all browned up, and you can see John got some really great caramelization on there. That great sear on there, that Maillard reaction. That's all flavor.
Maillard reaction.
Maillard reaction. Yeah, that's French.
Dr. T, could you explain what a Maillard reaction is?
It's basically a chemical reaction that happens with the sugars and the proteins in the meat when you apply heat to it.
Okay.
And you get this browning effect. And that browning gives you not only great flavor, but also a difference in texture.
Okay.
So it just kind of enhances the dish all around. And then, of course, we've cooked out, rendered out a lot of this fat in here. And we're going to use that fat. We're not going to discard it. We're actually going to use it to cook our vegetables in. So the next step here, John, do you want to help me remove the meat from the pan so we can get our vegetables in there? Just go ahead and use a slotted spoon.
You got the pan?
It won't move, it's heavy.
Or should I pour it?
No, just
scoop.
just
We're
scoop.
scooping,
Yeah,
okay.
we're scooping. That's why we use the slotted spoon, so we can leave all the
Makes
meat
sense.
juice in there. Delicious, delicious meat juice.
And you can get a little bit of crumbles in there still. you
Yeah.
know?
At least there's a little bit of fond in there, not too much. The fond is the stuff that gets kind of crusted and stuck onto the bottom of the pan.
Okay.
That stuff is gold, man. If we could bottle that stuff up and sell it, someone would make a fortune. But it's absolutely delicious when we get it scraped up and we add our liquid elements. Cool. Now, let us get on to the vegetables, right? Let me get this back at the temp here. We're going to cook these at a little bit of a lower temp, I think. So, let's start off with our onions. I put it in these handy dandy pre-measured bags because we're on location. I don't have my fancy
Is that
glassware.
one onion's worth, or?
That's about a half of
Half
a
an
medium,
onion
largest onion.
Okay.
So we got that, and we've got mushrooms,
All of the mushrooms.
and then we've got some garlic. And this garlic is just minced garlic. I buy it in a big tub at Costco. Easy to go. And there we go. Okay, John, I'll give you the spatula and give you some duties here.
All right.
Just go ahead and mix it around. We're going to season this as well. There you go, salt. Be on that side for a second. Pepper. Just keep it moving. So everything gets nice and well incorporated. This is where I'm going to throw in a little bit of that thyme. This is just thyme. I'm sprinkling in a couple teaspoons worth there. Thyme gives a little bit of a almost citrusy kind of flavor. It brightens things up. And we just want to get it in here while we're cooking things because that heat, when you put herbs under heat, it obviously heats them up, but it helps them. Well, it actually helps them release their natural oils.
Oh, okay.
So that's why people toast their spices, to release those natural oils, and then you can get that aroma. You can smell the oils coming out. Yeah. This is cooking pretty fast, and of course salt and pepper. The salt helps draw out some of the moisture. It's going to help these cook down. And once these onions start to look pretty translucent, we're going to be in a good spot here. So yeah, you can just kind of let them cook for a minute. It's actually maybe still a little warm. Turn down the heat a little bit. So John, I know that you're not just an up-and-coming musician. You're a pretty interesting guy. You've done a lot of different things, and it seems to me like you're running for the Most Interesting Guy award here. But I thought it was really interesting that you studied psychology. So maybe tell me a little bit about that. What drew you to that field? And what, obviously psychology is a huge field, right? So tell me kind of what you honed in on and what was important to you and how that links to your music.
So for me, I've always kind of been interested in the mind, how it works, everything to do with the perception, cognition, you know, the way we behave, mental health issues. And I think that last one there is kind of the reason I got into it, is learning mental health issues, which kind of led me down a road of trauma and wanting to do something with trauma, heal trauma, because again, or not again, we haven't talked about my military experience yet, but I used to be in the Army, and like getting out of the Army, I saw a lot of my friends and just fellow soldiers who suffered from PTSD and struggle with that. And so I wanted to do what I could, you know, to learn about it and kind of bring awareness of it. And my main goal was to be a therapist with it, and maybe I still will go and get my doctorate so I can be a Dr. J with Dr. T here. But for me, I realized music was a therapy for myself, and like it did a lot for me, cleansed my soul, made me feel love, made me feel emotion, like made me feel in general. And it healed me. Like I said, that reggae stick figure kind of healed me in that moment of distress a few years back, and it made me realize I could do that myself for other people. Like I could be a doctor and work one-on-one with people and, you know, heal people one-on-one, or I could make music. I could get spread to the masses and heal people, you know, that I don't even know, but I know that it's moving people, kind of like the music has moved me, you know.
So, if you were going to move back into that field, would you be looking to incorporate that music into your practice? I know that's kind of a field,
Possibly.
you know, music therapy and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
People have tossed that idea out to me, and I've thought about it. As of now, I don't plan on it, but anything can happen. I mean, I feel like I'm bringing on new things all the time, so
Okay.
we'll see.
All right. It looks like this is pretty well done. So what we're going to do here is I'm just going to move all this, pile it up on one side. And then we're going to make our roux right in this pan. And as John asked before, what's a roux? Roux is just butter and flour. And we use that butter and flour as basically kind of the base thickening agent for some liquids for different sauces. So we're going to start off with our butter here and get that melted. Toss that right in there.
And beautiful sight.
This thing is really hot.
We're cooking at 240 right now.
Yeah, we stirred that meat off at about 360 or so, and now we brought this down quite a bit. This is kind of new for me. I'm not used to cooking at, say, a specific temperature. It's more like, you know,
High,
medium
low.
low. So we're going to get this, and actually, you know what? I'll give you the honors, John.
Woo!
Once this butter is...
Be my first roux.
Yeah, your first roux. Okay, grab that. That's going to melt down. Then we're just going to add the flour. Typically, you add the same amount of butter and flour. So
Okay.
4 tablespoons of butter, 4 tablespoons of flour. That's almost there. I'm just going to sprinkle this kind of evenly across this. Maybe not so evenly.
Got impatient there at the end.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah, just
Minnesotan
get in
move.
there. Come on, man. Get in there.
Alright.
Yeah.
It's my first roux. Be easy on me, man.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to get some of those juices from the veggies in there. Yeah. You don't want to see any dry flour in there. You want to do that. Let me grab milk. Use some whole milk here. And we just need to cook this for a minute or two. As you can see, it's starting to brown up just a little bit. And basically, you just want to cook the rawness out of the flour. You don't want raw flour. You want to cook it a little bit so you don't taste that floury stuff.
Yeah.
And depending on what you're making, the roux, like sometimes you just really brown that roux until it gets golden and nutty. We're not going to take it quite that far, but I'm going to take it close. So I'm going to kick the temperature up just a little bit again. The butter really brought the temperature down. And we need this kind of hot for our liquid to make things start to coagulate. Well, not really coagulate, thicken.
Yeah.
So yep, just stir, 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 stir.
Now are we stirring just the roux here?
Yeah, just the roux
Not
here.
The veggies.
We'll do that eventually. Right now, we're just trying to get this to start thickening up. And we're going to be using about 2 cups of liquid here. Then I'll turn this up just a little bit. We need that heat. The heat is what activates the thickening. Yep. I don't know what I'm doing this. This is kind of weird.
Thickening, you know, universal symbol for thickening. You could go to a different country and go like this, and they'll be, oh, thickening. That's what you're talking about.
I don't know. I think you might end up in jail if you do that. Yep, as you can see, it's starting to thicken up here.
Yeah.
And we're gonna add in some more of this milk. And we want this to thicken up a little bit, not too much, because it's once we get this in the oven, it's gonna continue to thicken up a little more, and we don't want it too thick because otherwise it'll start to get dry. So I'll put in the rest of this. This is just 1 pint, which is equal to 2 cups, 16 ounces. And then we're gonna throw in some more liquid here to season this up. This is soy sauce.
Soy sauce.
The nectar of the gods.
Yeah.
So we're gonna put probably close to a 1/4 cup, not quite. And then we've got Worcestershire sauce. We're just gonna zhuzh it like this. Like, oh.
I'm still just trying to figure out how that name came
Yeah.
about and why it's.
Well, see,
How
it's,
do you even say it? How is the proper way to
okay,
say
so
that?
it's
Do
a
we know?
Worcestershire.
Well,
It's a
Worcestershire.
okay. So it's a place in like England, and there's also like a Worcester, Massachusetts. So the Worcester, that part is pronounced Worcester,
Okay.
and then Shire, Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
I think that's how it goes. Don't quote me on that.
Leave in the comments if we said it right.
Okay, that's doing really well. So let's go ahead and incorporate all our veggies in there now.
Mm-hmm.
Get that mixed up. And then we're also, I'm just going to go ahead and dump this hamburger back in here. A little extra meat juice.
Beautiful.
Extra meat juice.
Is that gonna be your theme song?
Should be, right? I feel like I'm forgetting some things.
Veggies.
I think we're doing okay.
If not, we're doing a remix competition.
Okay, now it's bubbling pretty good. We're gonna bring that heat back down because at this point we're just gonna mix in a few more things. I got some sour cream. Sour cream adds some tanginess. About a 1/4 cup here. I love sour cream. I put it on lots of stuff, but I especially love it when you make dishes like this with a creamy sauce. You know, if you're making stroganoff.
Is this kind of a pure flavor thing, or is this also a texture thing?
It's really
provides?
it's really just flavor, because the sour cream more or less just melts in there. So, got that. And then, we've got these vegetables. This is just a mix: carrots, beans, corns, whatever.
Steamable.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to stab a hole in this. So, don't try this at home, kids.
Oh.
Alright. And we're just gonna
Pour it on.
Whole thing. Corn down. Okay. And at this point, you might want to switch the smash.
Yeah.
It gets
It's
kind of
starting to
gummed
get
up in there, yeah.
It's coming alive.
Come on, John.
What?
Watch this. Okay. Get underneath. Bring it to the top.
See,
Up
this
and
is
over.
pro tip here.
Down, up and over.
Alright.
Down, up and over. It's a folding technique.
Man, I'll be able to cook mac and cheese by next week.
Oh man, you should see some of my mac and cheese recipes. I got a bachelor mac and cheese recipe for you. I use some mac and cheese powder. I got it on Amazon, man, and add a little sour cream in there, and it ends up being really good. Okay, so that's pretty well incorporated. We're just gonna make sure this is level.
Beautiful.
Now for the coup de grace. Tots!
Can't have a
We got
tater tot
tots.
hot dish.
I don't know if you can say
Tots.
tater tots. Isn't it like copyrighted or something? I don't know if you can say that.
Tots.
So we're just gonna dump these on here. Do you want these like haphazard, or do you want like a nice pattern to them?
Patterns.
Okay.
And everything.
So I like to take
Let's get
these
some order in our chaos.
and arrange them in like concentric circles. Now we're totally gonna edit this so you don't have to watch us at home doing this one by one. We're gonna speed this up like 500%. Woo. Okay. Sexy, right? Okay. Now we're gonna put this in the oven, and through the magic of video editing, this will come back pretty much done. So, all right, we're back with John. We've got our tater tots nice and crispy. Our last piece here is really just to load it up with some cheddar cheese. You like cheddar cheese, right, John?
I do like some.
I'll
cheddar
give you the
cheese.
honors, man.
So we're going for pour or like a nice little
You want it,
drizzle?
you know, evenly distributed. You don't want to be that guy who gets the piece of. You don't want to be that guy who gets a piece without any cheese on it, right?
Don't want to be that guy. I would actually probably just scoop around that piece so I get a piece of cheese.
Exactly.
So there's workarounds, but no, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, then we're gonna pop that back in the oven. Yeah, just get it all in there, man. Come on,
Sorry,
come on, just take a fistful. There you go. There you go. That's right.
I'm learning.
Get it towards the edges.
Dang, I'm gonna be a Dr. T cook here.
Sorry, I'm being a little rough on you here. I don't want to bring you any flashbacks from your military service, but
I want to do that.
maybe you tell us a little bit about that experience. It is Memorial Day, and we are wanting to honor our fallen heroes.
Absolutely.
And those who served. So tell us about that experience, John. How did you get into that? How was it?
So I joined the Army National Guard right out of high school. I joined the infantry. It was a goal of mine when I was a kid to be a fighter pilot, and I realized not too long after probably I was like 8 to 10 years old that I probably wouldn't be able to because of my vision. And I just kind of always had a military liking, or I enjoyed the military as a kid, watching movies and stuff like that, so I wanted to kind of be a part of that. And so when the recruiter came to the school and was like, hey, we'll give you $20,000 to join and sign your name on the line, I was like, sure, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'll do that. Buys me more drum equipment. Cool, let's do it. And so I joined, went down to Fort Benning, did the basic training down in Georgia, did like 5-6 years in the National Guard. Never did go overseas. I'm grateful for that actually, because a lot of my friends, and again, why I'm in more of a trauma specialized field for psychology is because of some of my friends who did go overseas, you know. I did 5-6 years in that, and then once that was done, I kind of got out of it and reframed and wanted to do something less intense and structured, and got into music more.
Okay. And I know it wasn't maybe the highlight of your life and career, but was it something that shaped who you are today and helped bring you?
Definitely did. I mean, it brought on the discipline. It brought just some hardened attitude that I can pull, and I can embrace the suck, as we like to call it, where things are so...
Like Mike Johnston, embrace the suck.
Yeah, exactly. Some drum references. You know, when things are so bad, you have nothing but to do other than just embrace that moment and just live in it. And so, for me, I can sit in a rainy, cold thing outside, you know, just get poured on and not be home in my comfort zone and be like, I'll resist it a little bit, but that snaps in and I'm like, yep.
It's hardened you. It's turned you into a warrior.
Me.
Okay, so we're going to pop this back in the oven. We're going to get this cheese all melted. And so we'll be right back with the click of our magic fingers. All right, there we have it, folks. It is done. That cheese is melted. Oh, look at that, man. It's just covering everything. It's delicious. We are going to have to wait a couple minutes for this to cool down. It's going to be really kind of liquidy and stuff. Give it a couple minutes and it'll set up and be perfect for serving. But while we got a chance now, let's just wrap things up, John, and come back to your music. And is there anything else that we left out? I mean, you talked about your bands performing, you know, the psychology of groove. Is there anything else that we need to talk about? What about your other job at the drum shop? How does that tie into things?
Well, I work at Twin Cities Drum Collective here in Minneapolis. It is a custom drum shop and retail store. So I do a lot of our online sales. I build our custom drums. So it very much ties in with everything I'm doing. And so it's just another outlet of mine, you know, that keeps me engaged and excited.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, John. We're going to let this cool down. Then we're going to eat this, but here's some B-roll.
Pick it up somehow, you know, pippin' ain't easy, but you only see me smile. You could rub out some that style. For my blood clots, looking for the have-nots, looking up this jam rock. Rest in peace, Ram Dass. Beat for my blood clots, looking for the have-nots, looking up this jam rock. R.I.P. Ram Dass.
All right, John, we're at the end. It's time to eat. Now, I don't usually eat on camera because I feel really weird about it.
Same.
But whatever, we're doing this. Here you go, use your bowl, my bowl. Let me get you loaded up, buddy.
It's warm. Makes sense why it would be warm.
There you go. Got the nice crispy tots up on top.
Nice
And the nice
color of the veggies in there.
Yeah, the inside, it kind of ends up like a pot pie. You know, it's comfort food, man. It's meaty, and it's got your veggies in there. You got tots. I mean, what's not to love, dude?
Good old midwestern cooking right here.
It is hot, man. So don't burn
It's a
yourself.
hot dish. All right.
Exactly, it's a hot dish. Okay, let's go ahead. I actually like them with ketchup.
We're gonna try it au natural.
Hot, hot. A really hot.
Hot?
Ooh, hot.
But it's really tasty.
Oh, man, it's good.
I definitely wouldn't have made it. Let's do
Yeah, so when you make it with the gourmet style, you're making your own roux, the sauce is just so velvety, smooth, and full of flavor. It's, you know, not one-dimensional like the canned soup stuff. You got the veggies, so it's healthy. You got some difference in texture with the beans and the corn and stuff in here. Oh man, and of course the cheese just makes it. It just gives you that. It's honest. Anyway, thanks for tuning in to this cooking Q&A. I'm Dr. T. This is John Holt, and stay awesome.
Buy it up, I walk the walk. I cut it the sauce. I got it unlocked.